great basketball.
Defender for the master, Jason Tatum.
We covering pre and post game back on this channel.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back into Celtics Postgame Live. I am your host, Rob Haytayan, and today joined with me is my co-host, Justin Lowe. Justin, Celtics, big time win right before the All-Star break. 127 to 107. Jason Tatum, a little light, 38 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Game smart. Comes back into the lineup. Had a great game, I thought. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals, Mr. Do It All.
Yeah.
Pistons, obviously, worst team in the league, but a win's a win. 1 seed is ours going into the All-Star break. That must feel really good for this team. You know the drill, Justin. Takeaways, thoughts, reactions.
Yeah. So this was the first time the Celtics have swept the season series against the Pistons since Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. So this is obviously a big deal. Pistons, yeah, the worst team in the league statistically, but we know that this is a team that plays the Celtics really tough. And there were moments in this game where they had cut it down to, I think it was like 6 or 7 at one point, but Boston was able to stay composed on their home court. Second night of a back-to-back. Shots were starting to go a little flat, but Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, the fresh legs, Luke Cornett, a few plays here and there, were able to bring the Celtics over the top and get the win. Detroit might not look like a great team on paper, but they're a young team and they play really tough. And this is a huge trap game on a second night of a back-to-back when the Celtics are coming off of an overtime game last night. This was very much so a game the Celtics could have and honestly maybe even should have lost with the Celtics still being shorthanded, but they didn't throw those excuses out there. They went in, came in tonight at home on their home court and closed out with the win. I'm sure the Celtics didn't forget what Detroit did to this team last year before the All-Star break. Detroit had a 1-point win in Boston's at the TD Garden and kind of really deflated Boston's momentum going into the All-Star. This was a big win here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get started, I just want to say this post-game show is sponsored by Sharps. Sharps is a kind of a middleman for sports betting. I know sports betting is now about to be legal. It's legal now in Mass. You can do it. You can go to I believe you can do it in person, a casino, and bet there. Online sports betting is legal as of March 10th. However, if you're a daily fantasy user, download Sharps, connect your sports book or your daily fantasy to it, and go follow me or Justin on Sharps. You can see what we're betting daily. It's a lot of fun. We love those guys over there at Sharps, and we're very happy that we can be partnerships with them. So go use this little link that you see on the screen. It's also in the description. Go download Sharps, follow us, see what we're betting. It's a lot of fun. We'll do it every Celtics game day. But yeah, absolutely right. Let's get back into the show, Justin. I mean, you nailed it. Ton of the money. It was a game that wasn't a must-win by any means, but it kind of was at the same time. You want that 1 seed. Chicago or Milwaukee plays Chicago Thursday and tomorrow night, and Chicago just got a brutal loss to Indiana tonight.
They were big in that game too.
Yeah, big time. So you'd figure Milwaukee's going to take care of business over there. I loved Tatum only played 33 minutes. I like that. 33 minutes is the sweet spot. Double. Yeah, 33 minutes is the sweet spot I want Jason Tatum at. So very pleased with that. I thought Smart looked great. White struggled for sure, but White's been so hot. Over the last couple games that it really doesn't matter. And I also thought Brogdon looked great off the bench. I mean, I really thought this was clicking. However, a name I want to talk about is Grant Williams. Grant's first quarter checks into the game. 3 quick threes. Boom, 9 points. Stops. Doesn't shoot. Doesn't spot up shoot anymore. Done for the game. That's unacceptable. I mean, Grant has to stop putting the ball on the ground.
I hate to nitpick when the Celtics dominate and blow a team out, but look, we love Grant Williams, but tonight he started the game off really, really good. He was a catch and shoot guy, getting some great looks, moving off ball. But when he puts the ball on the floor and he does too much, that's when it becomes too much for himself to handle. I just don't think he can handle it. I certainly couldn't. So I don't want to sit here and trash him like I could do better at all. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, like, Grant's role is a spot up catch and shoot shooter. And like, that's he plays that so well. He played that so well here in the first half. Then second half comes around, putting the ball on the floor. He had 2 turnovers. Where did he have 5 turnovers last night? That's 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
That's 7 turnovers in the last 2 games for Grant Williams. He's got to figure it out, because I thought he had a great game against Philly. I thought he had a great start here tonight, and he does do other things really well. He's a very solid, very underrated defender, but offensively, where in my opinion, I think he's a stronger offensive player than defensive player. I think he has the ability to be a stronger offensive player. I don't know what he's doing, Rob. I don't know if he's just going 100 miles an hour and he just can't catch himself. But he I don't know if you noticed this, but he dribbles into double teams a lot. Like, he doubles into trouble, dribbles into trouble a lot. And that's an handle that type of pressure. And we saw that last night against Milwaukee. I hate to really kind of trash on that game at all at any point of that game, because that was a really good game played. But that last possession, people were saying, "Oh, Joe should have called." No, Joe shouldn't have called the timeout. Grant Williams shouldn't have ran into a double team, dribbled the ball off his foot, and lost it out of bounds. That's not how that should have went.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was bad. And especially Grant Williams is a guy that you can't afford having turnovers, right? Like,
Right.
Grant is a guy that you need ball security from. He's going to stand in the corner, stand wing, move off ball, knock down the threes when the ball gets swung his way. His problem is that I think for some reason he has this idea in his head that teams know he's a good shooter. He's going to try to get them off guard, pump fake, drive middle, maybe get a kick out, maybe get an easy layup. That's not the player he is. He's never been that player. He'll never really, I don't think he'll ever be that type of player. What makes Grant Williams so good for us, and he was so good at this last year and in the playoffs especially, it's the spot up shooting. It's the 3-and-D. It's the fact that he's 6'7". He can play both ends of the ball, or 6'5", 6'6", somewhere around there. Can play both. Can really guard 1 through 5. He's versatile on defense, and on offense, he's a knockdown 3-point shooter. He worked on his game all summer entering last season. That's what he worked on. And it kind of feels like he's just throwing that all away to almost play for a bigger contract. It kind of feels like that's what he's going after. And listen, like, we're in it, Grant. This is much bigger than your payroll, what the Celtics are fighting for right now. So, I mean, Grant, you need to find your role. You need to simmer down a little bit. And I get it. It's like, oh, God, I can't stress it enough. Last night was bad. I know you weren't able to talk on, you were on the post-game show to talk about it. There was no reason why that ball was put on the floor. Just no reason at all.
Right. And in Joe's defense, like, you call a timeout, Milwaukee had their free throw shooters out. Right, like Boston calls a timeout that would allow Milwaukee to throw in their best defender. So the Celtics were able to just go out right off that free throw, which was very smart in Mazzulla's defense. And by the time Grant was on the floor, diving for that loose ball because he lost it, there was no way we could have possibly called the timeout whatsoever. So, just clearing the air for Joe in that sense, that was not his fault. But I don't know if this $20 million is getting to his head, because he's jamming he's jamming that down his own throat, right? Like, I feel like he's pushing that 14 million. We talked about that 14 million.
20 million. He's asking for 20.
No. Like, I'm saying like we've been talking about, like, look, man, let's start at 14 million. Like let's talk about Grant making 14 million before we even think about going 20. He's pushing making that 14 million right now with the way he's been playing. Like, I don't know if this contract year is in his head too much, because that is a big thing. That's a thing that happens to players, is contract year, and you struggle and you go through slumps. But this is great. This has kind of been a whole thing this whole year with Grant Williams. I would say, I wouldn't say it's just a particular stretch. I'd say it's been all season long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we talk about something positive though? Because Marcus Smart came back. He
He
almost
looks
friggin' had a
great.
quadruple double, dude. I mean, 9 points, 7 boards, 6 steals, 6 assists. Like, dude was everywhere on both ends of the floor. I thought he was just so pivotal in this Celtics win tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it was so apparent that we're so much better with Smart on the floor. It's so obvious with this offense. Just
Right.
clicks. It's just like they got their floor general back. And I
Right.
think that is what makes Marcus Smart so good. And that's what really makes this team so good. Is Derek White was phenomenal. Brogdon's phenomenal too. But those guys don't have that chemistry that Smart has with these guys. It feels like Smart knows these tendencies well. He's been playing with these guys, with Horford, with Brown, with Rob, with JT for so much time now that he knows where to get them the ball, how to get them the ball, and when to get them the ball. And that's really important as a point guard. And I mean, I can't stress it enough with Marcus Smart. He is the motor that keeps this engine running. I really believe that.
Right.
As great as Jason Tatum is, and as great as Jaylen Brown is, and as versatile as Rob is, and all these players are great. D. White just put up 25, 4 and 7 in the past 5 games. And that's great. But Smart is just his presence on defense, his knack for the ball. He does everything right. This season's done a phenomenal job at not shooting the ball too. He has really, his shot selection has gone from like his rookie season terrible to like 2 years ago, like questionable, to last year reasonable, to this year phenomenal. It feels like Smart's never taken a bad shot anymore.
Right. And that goes along with the winning mentality and knowing what it takes to win. And there's been multiple times where Smart's gotten to that level, that Eastern Conference Finals level, hasn't gotten over the hump. There's been obviously that time last year where they got over the hump, but they found out what they needed to get, to that extra kick in the butt, I guess you could say, that they're going to need to have this go around. I just think Marcus Smart is so pivotal in terms of when we're talking about winning a championship. I don't know if we win a championship without Marcus Smart on this team. And it's so crazy. Like tonight was one of those perfect games where your guard rotation, every one of your guards is playing really, really well. I mean,
Yeah.
Derek White had a solid game. Malcolm Brogdon, obviously, a stellar game. Marcus Smart, in the minutes he played, I mean, Christ, a quadruple double watch. Are you kidding me? That just goes to show you how deep this team really is. And also, like, I don't mean to throw this name out there, but like that also goes to show you how tough opportunities come for Peyton Pritchard. When all 3 of your point guards are playing at this type of level, it's
Yeah.
gonna be hard to crack minutes, as well as Sam Hauser playing the way that he's been playing. And we've seen Hauser play a little bit of that 2-guard wing spot as of late. So like when your guards are clicking like this and you're winning like this, it's going to be definitely hard to crack those rotational minutes. But I don't see a world, Rob, I really don't see a world where the Celtics don't win their next title with Marcus Smart on their team.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This guy is he's the defense player of the year. Like enough said, he's quieted all the haters. This guy is truly a point guard. And there were some questions. Even myself, I asked the question. I posed the question last summer. Can this guy really be a point guard? Right? Obviously, phenomenal defender. You thought maybe you slot him at the 2.
Right.
Brogdon's coming in. You'd figure maybe you put Brogdon in the starting lineup or White in the starting lineup, run them at the point. Because he wasn't great last playoffs. At this, he took another step. And,
Right.
I credit Brad Stevens. And you know why I think that is? I think that's because with the acquisition of Malcolm Brogdon, Brad put pressure on Smart, saying, listen, we're going to have this guy coming off the bench
Right.
who has proven that he's a phenomenal passer, phenomenal scorer. You got to be our point guard. We want you to be our point guard. You're going to start. But we got some depth. We got some guards on this team that can hoop. And I think that pressure when you're playing with your back against the wall, Smart showed up, and much praise to Smart there. No questions asked. Something else.
Do you think Joe throwing in JD in the final 3 minutes you think that didn't sit well with Pritchard, like internally?
Did Pritchard Pritchard didn't play tonight, did he?
He didn't play a second. And
Pritchard
in a
Pritchard
blowout
will
game,
be. I think what
I-
will happen with Pritchard he'll sit down with the front office next year and they'll hand select a spot for him to go. A couple of teams. I think they'll pick 4 or 5 teams. Brad will call him up, find whichever one of those 4 or 5 teams can give him the best offer, I think,
maybe
and they'll
like
ship
a
him
sign and
off.
trade.
Something
Wait,
like that.
he's not on a contract year.
No,
I don't
he's
think.
not.
I think next year is.
No, he
not
is.
like. No, he's not
Was
on a
he?
contract year.
No, he wasn't. He was with the Neesmith draft. He wasn't with the Grant draft, right?
Yeah, no, he was with the Neesmith
Yeah. So
draft.
he's
So,
got another year. So yeah,
I think he's a free
Pritchard's
agent
gone.
next summer, not this summer.
Pritchard's for sure gone. He doesn't want to be here. He's made it very obvious he doesn't want to be here. He has made it also very obvious that he is in it for his role and not for playing for a championship. And that's fine, right? That's fine. Every player has their own wants and desires. My big thing with Pritchard is I don't want it to be a distraction. I don't want him throwing off the mojo. Listen, You're young. You're making the same money here as you would in Detroit. You're on the best basketball team in the league. So just for 4 more months,
string it together.
String it together. I don't have a problem. I respect Peyton Pritchard if he wants to go somewhere else. He wants to. His opportunity isn't in Boston. Fine, absolutely okay with that.
Let it play out.
Let it play out. Don't be this guy that's gonna sit and pout. I saw him on the sideline. It didn't look like he was too upset. He was joking around with Hauser and Blake on the bench, which is always a good sign to see. But I think if I'm Pritchard, personally speaking, and I'm looking for a bigger role, you didn't get dealt at the deadline. He obviously wanted to. Play for a championship. Get that ring under your belt. Get that experience. And if your number gets called, be ready. Stay ready. Work on your craft. Learn from these great point guards that you're with these great guards. You can gain so much knowledge these next couple months. You got Smart. You got Brogdon. You got White. You got Brown. All willing to teach you. Learn, gain some knowledge. And then when summertime rolls around, offseason rolls around, listen, we'll ship them off and we'll get some nice package for them too. To help us win a title next year. You could potentially see an Al Horford replacement used with Peyton Pritchard, a couple picks. So that's a very, very movable asset. And I'm okay with it. But listen, as long as he's not affecting the team in the morale, I'm okay. I'm comfortable.
I agree. I hope that doesn't mess with the team chemistry coming down the stretch of the season. Because we've said this before. I don't think I've ever seen this team chemistry be like this tight on and
it's very
off the court.
2008-y. Very
it is very like Ubuntu-ish type thing. And
love and trust.
Right. I don't know. I think this team is just so dialed in and just so connected and ready to go out there and get over that hump, try to get over that hump again. And just seeing Blake Griffin dive on loose ball, like Blake Griffin's been filling in his role so well. We know what we can get from Mike Muscala. I mean, he's been unreal these last 3 games. We traded, Justin Jackson for him, and essentially we added without subtracting. And then we know what we're going to get from Rob. We just got to get Rob healthy. It made me nervous last night. Joe kind of randomly benching him. I don't know if you guys talked about that on the post-game show last night.
We didn't. And that's where I was going to take this.
But 12 minutes played, all 12 minutes, he was a huge factor on the court. Yeah, come overtime, come down the stretch, he gets taken out of the game. He didn't start. Joe Mazzulla claims there was no reason why he didn't start. He is healthy. There was no minute restriction, yet he played only 12 minutes against a potential Eastern Conference Finals opponent. I understand you were short, man, and I understand I'm not the coach and I couldn't do what they do. But at the same time, it's fishy when Robert Williams is only playing 12 minutes. That's almost as worse as a healthy scratch, in my opinion, Rob.
Yeah. I did not like how Joe Mazzulla addressed the media. Plain and simple. If you watch that press conference, it comes off as very, very a-hole-ish. Very douchey. Very douchey. Right. Very douchey. That did not sit well with me. Rob is a guy that has earned everything that has come his way on the Boston Celtics. Got drafted here, played behind Enes Kanter, Freedom, whatever you want to call him. Played behind Al Horford for his time. Daniel Tice, he sat behind. Tristan Thompson, he sat behind. This guy has worked for his starting spot. His deep third and defensive player of the year voting right now spot. And I believe Joe Mazzulla doesn't see Robert Williams in the Celtics' success or the Celtics' future. That's what I believe. I believe Mazzulla was a guard when he played. Doesn't understand big men. He likes to shoot. He likes to play fast. Rob is a guy that plays great defense, doesn't shoot the ball, is a spacer in a different type of sense. Rob was phenomenal last year because Udoka understood what it was like to be Udoka was a guard, but he was a bigger guard. He understood how to play physical, how to play defense. That was his thing. Joe Mazzulla's thing is this fast-paced, running gun offense. Personally, if I were to pick, I'm picking Udoka's scheme. Plain and simple. But I'm concerned about how Mazzulla handled that. He said it wasn't due to injury. He said it wasn't due to anything else. It wasn't matchup based. So then why the hell is our fourth, arguably third best player coming off the bench playing 12 minutes in a game that he absolutely could have altered? Absolutely. Defensively, he is better than anyone that was on the court last night. By a mile on the Celtics side of the ball. Obviously, you have Giannis, right? By a mile. So I didn't like those. I did not like how Joe Mazzulla addressed the media at all. I thought it was terrible.
I just wish Mazzulla was more transparent. I don't like the Bill Belichick approach to things. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I respect Bill Belichick a lot, and I think he's an amazing coach, but I hate his answers, and I hate how he answers them and the tone, and that's what the type of vibe I'm getting from Joe. Like, I love Joe. He seems like a good dude. He seems like he's a funny sense of humor guy, but I just don't like how he addresses the media. I want more straightforward answers. I want more. There's no way there was just no reason why Robert Williams only played 12 minutes.
He didn't like the matchup. He didn't like the matchup. He just said it.
Is that what he said? He didn't.
No,
like
but he didn't.
Matchup?
But it was very clear. He wanted to space it out and shoot a lot of threes.
I'm going to tell you right now, come playoff time, if Robert Williams is not playing against the Milwaukee Bucks because of matchups, which is total BS to me, that's an issue. That is a huge issue, and that's going to cost Boston a series. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Rob. I don't know if we beat Milwaukee without Robert Williams in the lineup. I don't.
Not at all.
I think
not. And listen, the fact that this is even a conversation is I'm going to bring this term
2
back
months after he came back as well.
Mind-boggling. There is a time where the Bucks' biggest and tallest player on the court last night was Chris Middleton. Rob played 2 minutes in that stretch.
Right.
He didn't dump the ball down into the post once. Not once did we dump the ball down to Robert Williams. 24 years old.
When Robert Williams shot that three, Mazzulla probably had the biggest smile on his face ever. Remember the other night against Memphis and he had to shoot that? I just feel like with Robert Williams on the floor, it's a different type of floor spacer, right? Like, typically when we talk about floor spacing, we talk about a stretch big, a stretch four who could shoot the three, who could shoot the mid-range, could stand in the corner while JT goes to work and be able to ready to knock down that shot. That's not what Robert Williams is, but Rob can lurk around the baseline. He could do the high pick and roll. He could do all these different types of things that I just don't understand why we're not seeing. And look, a drive or a paint touch doesn't always have to result in a layup or a dunk. It can result in a three, but the Celtics hang so much around the perimeter. It's almost like Robert Williams is almost useless in this offense.
And you know what? You know what I have noticed? We aren't doing backdoor cuts, or we're not throwing it up to Rob off the drive anymore. We're kicking it out.
Right.
And listen, this
almost
is
like he's a decoy almost.
What we're doing is pretty. It's fun to watch, and it's really entertaining.
Right.
But it's been proven unsustainable throughout the course of a playoff run. Proven.
Even regular
season. 2018 Rockets, for example.
Mhm.
Look at the 2022 Phoenix Suns. Look at the 7-second offense Phoenix Suns.
Right.
We can go back. Let's go back to 2015, the Atlanta Hawks. They were the 1 seed that year. They love to shoot the basketball. Nope, didn't work.
They shot like 63s in one game, I think.
Yeah, they love to shoot the basketball. That didn't work. Atlanta Hawks, not Atlanta Hawks. The who was the 1 seed 3 years ago? Oh, I forget. I'm blanking. The Bucks. It was the Milwaukee Bucks. A couple years ago, they were this high volume, like before Giannis really took a step when Eric Bledsoe was over there. That didn't work. Listen, you can't do that. It's not sustainable. I know it's pretty, and I know we're really good at it. And maybe they'll prove me wrong, maybe. But 53s a game isn't good basketball. It's just not. It's not. The Warriors don't even do that because the Warriors understand what is the most high percentage shot in the game. Inside the paint. Inside the freaking paint. Against Memphis, we shot 52 threes and 38 twos.
And they didn't even have Steven Adams. They're like number 1 rim protector outside of Jaren Jackson.
Listen, I know we're talking so much negative stuff after a great game, right? But as the All-Star break approaches, Celtics fans have to be realistic. Right now, we're the front runner, for sure. Front runner, best team in the league, hands down, no question.
But that doesn't mean we're perfect.
We're not perfect. And this All-Star break, we have to address some things. One of them being we have not utilized Robert Williams. This guy came off 3 straight games of 15 rebounds. So I'm going to look at the Milwaukee game and just maybe think that Rob wasn't healthy. Joe didn't want to give it to the media, and he just brushed it off. That's what I'm going to take it as. However, I haven't seen Robert Williams play 35 minutes in God knows how long, and he looks damn healthy.
Right.
And that's a problem.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And look, we're at the All-Star break, but we only have 22 games left. Like, March and April come quick. March and April is when you want to start resting these guys. It seems as if we're going to have to try to ramp Robert Williams up in March and April instead of resting him to get ready.
He hasn't played any big minute games yet.
And that's an issue. And in my opinion, what's our schedule look like coming off of All-Star break? Because not only should Robert Williams play because of the All-Star break, he gets a week off to rest those knees, those ankles, whatever the hell's going on. But that Indiana game, first game back, that's a damn good game.
Let me run you through. God, the Celtics could go streaking off All-Star break. So
I'm sorry, but if Rob doesn't play that game in Philly, there's going to be issues. There's going to be a lot of real issues.
So here's the next 10 games the Celtics have after All-Star breaks. I think all 10 are games we can win. And I wouldn't be shocked if we came at All-Star break and honestly won 10 straight. Pacers, Sixers are at Indiana, at Philly, at New York. Then we come home for 3 games. At home Cleveland, at home Brooklyn, at home New York, on the road in Cleveland again, at home against Portland, on the road against Atlanta. God, it feels like we haven't played Atlanta in forever. On the road against Houston, and that's the 10th game. Houston's the final game. So
wow, March we play so many road games.
Yeah, and they're not. Listen. I can circle Bucks once, Philly twice. Those are the only tough games on our schedule. Minnesota once. That could be tough if they're healthy, but that's it, bro. The rest of these games, you could see the Celtics go like 18-4 in these next games. You could.
And there's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah, you could absolutely see that.
Like what we saw from Tatum, what we saw from Marcus tonight, those guys are good. Tatum's feeling better. Smart
Tatum
looks great.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mike Muscala, I'm not worried about little ankle management.
He played 44 minutes. He's old, right? That was a rest.
44 minutes. He's like, look, he's an insurance big man. So when we could get the type of play that we've been getting out of him as an insurance player, you let the friggin' guy take one night off against the Detroit Pistons before the All-Star break.
Absolutely.
Like, don't forget, like, he's Al and Rob's replacement, and we need him to stay healthy just as much, if not more, than Al Allen
And Rob.
Williams,
Yeah, totally.
because he's their backup, and he
I'm
can
just
be
scared,
even.
dude.
I don't understand. I thought tonight would have been the perfect game, if anything, to play Robert Williams tonight and not play him last night. If you're gonna do the back-to-back thing, I get it. Nobody played in Milwaukee though. You might as well, if you
Yeah. You
4
only
out of
played
5
him
of your
12
starters
minutes. Why
right.
make it worse? 12 minutes?
I feel like I said, I feel like that's worse than a healthy scratch. And the annoying thing was he was playing really good in those 12 minutes, and Milwaukee was having a hard time when he was in the game. Yet he still took him out and only
He's
played
the
him 12 minutes.
he's the best offensive big man in the NBA. Offensive rebounding big man. Sorry, not offensive. Offensive rebounding. Offensive rebounding big man, bro. Like, all right. Let's steer away from the Robert Williams. You guys, we've been a broken record.
Is JB playing next week? Is JB playing next week?
Yeah.
I
think you'll see Jaylen Brown in the All-Star game for
That's
a
what
little
I'm
bit.
saying.
I think he'll
Or
suit
is it
up.
this week?
It's this Sunday. I think he'll suit up. I doubt he'll play. There's a chance Missoula's the coach, so Missoula might like sub him in, give him 2 minutes, 3 minutes out there, let him pull up a couple threes.
I feel like he very much could have played last night and or tonight.
Yeah,
I feel like
there's no reason. There's no reason.
right. I feel like it's like let the dude get comfortable, let him get his little extra couple games off, because it's very rare that you see Tatum and Brown take games off. It's not like these other duos like Kawhi and Paul George and Kyrie and KD who take nights off every night. It's just not like that.
Yeah. That would be exciting. Jason Tatum 3-point contest, that should be fun to watch.
After tonight, it was like he was in it.
Yeah, right. So that'll be fun. Listen, it sucks. We got a week off for Celtics basketball, but a much needed week off for this team. They've been past 15 games. They've been banged up in and out of the lineup. Hopefully, after All-Star break, we'll see a clean injury report besides Gallo.
Right.
I hope and pray it's been a month and a half.
I read something that Gallinari expects to be back if the Celtics make a postseason run.
So you're looking at like second round, probably. I feel like for Gallo.
Yeah, and look, I know he nitpicked a lot. I know he nitpicked a lot, but I have to give Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics a lot of credit for these last 2 weeks before All-Star break, because they got some amazing wins in there. They got some tough, grinded out wins, even in their losses. That Milwaukee loss, like I know we don't do moral victories in Boston, but like that was a victory if I ever saw one. Like I got to give these guys a tremendous amount of credit, because they get paid to go out there every night, whether guys are out or not, and they stepped up. I love the hospital Celtics, because they never fail to retain us in the best way possible.
One more thing before we end this, before we wrap
Yeah.
up. That doesn't only like please the fans, I think when your bench is playing like that, it gets the starters giddy to get back. It amps them up, because like I'm sure if I was Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, you watch that game and think, oh my God, they don't lose by 6. Let's get out there against the Pistons and let's do it. Like when you have a bench and a culture that is so into playing and that is constantly playing, I think that brings so much more to a team and a culture. So yeah, I mean, I think that's super important. But like I said, Celtics, they take care of business tonight at home, 127-107 win against the Detroit Pistons. JT, his MVP case, he's keeping it up. 38 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists for the all-star, all-NBA player. Smarty, the DPOY, back in the lineup, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And am I seeing that right? 6 steals, almost a little quad double watch, Justin, for Smart. The Celtics will be back at it. Celtics at Pacers Thursday night, February 23rd. Like I said, we got a week off of this thing, 7 o'clock. You can catch that game on.
And Tice, baby.
Yeah, a little reunion. You can catch that game on NBC Sports Boston. Once that final buzzer sounds, you guys know right where to come back. Come back right here to catch Celtics Postgame live. Justin, before we finish off, anything last words you got?
Nope. JD, who is it? Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have a fun all-star game in skills competitions, but at the same time, get out of the all-star break healthy. I hope everybody gets healthy, at least as healthy as they can. I want that Indiana game. Not only do I
Clean
want to
injury report.
Indiana, I just want a clean injury report. Even if that means Gallo's still on it and everybody else is off, that's fine. But like, just take it easy during the break. Take it easy. Don't do anything. Don't do anything stupid. Don't go throw benders and keg parties and go overseas and do some dumb, stupid things. Have fun and just relax. Take a chill pill.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah. And honestly, great first half of the year. Great first 59 games. A lot of injuries. Best team in the league. You know, no complaints. We have some complaints, but not a lot of them. I know this post-game show was more negative than we usually are. Great win against Detroit at home to finish off the first 59 games. Those last 22, 23 should be good. Like I said, I'm Rob.
We just dropped the podcast.
We did.
Go check.
Go watch that. We'll be dropping one over the All-Star break. It'll be a fun one, I think. I don't think we'll talk too much C's in that podcast. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of NBA talk because obviously the All-Star game.
Yeah, the All-Star game would happen, so we definitely will cover that the weekend though.
Yeah, so it'll probably, if I had to guess, Tuesday, like afternoon, night, It will drop. So expect that. Other than that, we'll be back at it Thursday night. Like I said, come back here, catch us post game live. I'm Rob. Next to me, that's my boy Justin, and we'll see you next week. It's gonna be a while. I miss you guys.